What is up, you guys? Naesam here, and I had a few people suggest to me that I should make a video basically going over like ways to prepare for 7.1.5. And I thought that was a pretty good idea because a lot of people seem to not really know what's going on because there's a whole lot of changes. This is the first time in a long time they've done such sweeping changes mid-expansion, if they've ever done that before. And luckily we've had all this stuff prepared, so we kind of know. We've kind of figured out what's going on, but a lot of the community members do not know yet. So in this video I'm going to go over a few tips just to help you guys prepare for the upcoming changes. So first thing first is that a lot of abilities that are affected by mastery, such as Lava Burst, Ice Fury, Elemental Blast, stuff like that, have been significantly buffed. Meaning that we're going to be using those most likely, which also means that mastery is going to be a much better stat than it is right now. There's a couple different builds that you can use that I'll talk about in a minute, but basically mastery is going to be top or second top stat, at least if nothing changes between now and the release. So you should probably be saving any mastery gear you have. If you already deleted a whole bunch of high level mastery gear, especially crit mastery gear, you should probably be restoring that at your latest convenience, because it's probably going to be BIS in the next patch. So the next thing is the thing that a lot of people don't really know about, and that is that there are two viable builds currently on the PTR. There is a Lava Burst build, or an Ascendance build I mean, and there is an Ice Fury build. That's for single target. For AoE, Lightning Rod is also viable. Basically, they have very similar stat priorities, but Ascendance goes for more mastery, Ice Fury goes for more crit, and Ascendance is definitely the easier one to play, but its damage is slightly worse. Ice Fury is one of the more complicated rotations in the game right now, but it is actually better than Ascendance for most situations, at least for single target. What you will find if you decide to play with the different builds is that Ascendance build is very similar to what we have on live right now, but it's also including Elemental Blast and Echo of the Elements, so the rotation is quite similar. All you have to do is add Elemental Blast in. Ice Fury build is basically somewhat similar to what we have on live, but a lot more complicated. It has Elemental Blast, Echo of the Elements, and Ice Fury, which means there is a lot going on, and honestly, like it kind of simplifies as you go through the fight, because things aren't all happening at the same time. But what is hard about this build is going to be the opener, and that's something I haven't fully figured out exactly how to do, but I think I got a general idea, and I do want to show you guys at some point in this video what it looks like, because it is pretty intimidating, but once you get past the opener, it's much more simple. The only problem is that with this build, if you're not as experienced, if you're not a super experienced player, you may end up doing less damage than you would with the Ascendance build, because it's pretty complex compared to what we have right now. So this kind of leads me into my next point, being that if you want to attempt the Ice Fury build, you should probably be practicing it right now and get a feel for it. If you don't have PTR installed, I suggest you do that, because talents all kind of got moved around, so you can't really actually go what the Ice Fury build is. The Ice Fury build is Earth and Rage, Ancestral Swiftness, and then things got moved all over the place, because this row is Elemental Blast, and this row, okay, now I'm getting confused. I'm trying to look into their window at the same time. This row is Echo of the Elements. It's kind of just all messed up, and Ice Fury is on the 10th row, or the level 100 talent. It's all over the place. But you can kind of simulate it by doing this, but you won't have Echo, which is kind of important. And then you wouldn't have like Lightning Rod or Ascendance or anything with this, because they're on the same row. But this is like the best you can do. Like if you want to practice it like LFR or something, this is probably going to be the build you want to try out. Maybe even dump this for like Aftershock or something. I'm not really sure, because on PTR this is on this row. It's all over the place. But basically this build, let's see where can I put this. I guess that works. It's definitely more complicated than live is. I don't really know exactly how to do the opener. I'll have to actually like get on PTR and try a little more professionally, because I just kind of like started hitting it. But there's so many more buttons happening, and if you miss like if you do one wrong cast and you don't cast Elemental Blast on cooldown, it's a pretty significant loss in damage. but it will, if you do it right, it'll net you much better results. So if you try this build and you find that you don't like it, or that you don't think you can pull it off, or you don't want to even try to pull it off, like you're not really a super try-hard player who wants to do like the super hard rotation, you just kind of want to play it simple and focus on mechanics or whatever, then you should just do the Ascendance build and gear for more mastery. Because if you aren't performing the Ice Fury build perfectly, as I said earlier, Ascendance will probably net more damage. So I have logged onto the PTR just to give you guys more of an example of the actual, like, what the actual rotation is going to look like. Still have some logs from something here. I think it was Goldan or something. But as you can see here, I've kind of rearranged my gear because I'm a bit of a loot hoarder. I didn't even know this was coming, and I just had my banks completely full of mastery gear because I feel bad about getting rid of high level stuff, regardless of what it actually is. But I managed to get like really good stats here, and I mean, it looks like I have really low stats, but that's because of the secondary stat changes that made it so each stat gives a less % to avoid the inflation like we had in WoD. But I have like 8,000 crits, 7,000 mastery, very little haste, very little versatility. That's kind of the build you want to go for with Ice Fury. I don't know the exact numbers yet, that'll come later. We're waiting for an actual fully released candidate before looking too far into that. But this is what the talent looks like, or the talent tree looks like. This is the current build I am running with Ice Fury. It's Earth and Rage, Ancestral Swiftness, Elemental Blast, Echo of the Elements, and Ice Fury. If I wanted to go with Ascendance, I would go Path of Flame. I'll look at the other monitor here. Ancestral Swiftness, Elemental Blast, Echo of the Elements, Ascendance. Unless there was multiple targets, then you would switch your Elemental Blast to Elemental Fusion and just spam your Lava Burst button over and over and over again. But that one, I don't really feel like I need to show off that build because it's not really that complicated. It's kind of what we have right now, just with Elemental Blast mixed in. The only difference is that Elemental Blast is going to take priority over everything, even including Earth Shock and stuff, because it doesn't generate Maelstrom. It's actually really good to have before Earth Shock because of the crit chance or whatever. But going back to the Ice Fury build, let's see what kind of opener we can get. So I don't exactly know if I should be precasting Elemental Blast or Lava Burst, just because we have Echo of the Elements. I've been precasting Lava Burst and then Elemental Blast into Flame Shock. As I said, I don't really know if that's the best or not. But also, it's nice not having Totem Mastery anymore. But let's just like give this a little try. Here at the start, get some Maelstrom generation, then pop SK and Lightning Rod, or SK and Ice Fury here. And as long as you don't have to move too much, you can get everything out. And I probably should have used Elemental Blast earlier there. I kind of delayed it a little too long, because you're not supposed to delay it at all. So delaying it at all is delaying it too long. So, I mean, see, once you get past the opener, it kind of simplifies itself. It's a little bit easier to do, but the damage is actually kind of crazy. I'm going to dump my Maelstrom because I don't want to waste any with Ice Fury. And one common misconception is people think that Ice Fury is something that needs to be casted. Well, people think that the Frost Shocks after Ice Fury need to be casted right after each other, like 4 in a row, and that is not at all the case. You have 15 seconds to get them off. So you can cast Ice Fury at 0 Maelstrom and still have plenty of time while casting Elemental Blast, while casting Lava Burst to get all 4 out, as long as you don't accidentally Earth Shock or something. And as you can see here, it's definitely simplifying itself a little bit. Here's another little complicated part, like the 1 minute mark. Build yourself some Maelstrom, get some Frost Shocks out. But the Stormkeeper actually really helps with that, because it generates Maelstrom and you can do it while moving and it's instant cast. So having those two together, while it seems a little intimidating, is actually really helpful. And I'm doing a ton of damage right now because I have the 4 set on this character and 2 really good legendaries. Elemental Blast comes back up, you want to use that immediately. Back to Ice Fury. Almost wasted some Maelstrom there. I had to immediately cast Frost Shock to avoid the overload from wasting any Maelstrom. The biggest rule about any resource class is never waste the resource, so you never want to go over the cap. But this is basically what the new rotation might look like, and it looks fairly simple, but it can get a little complicated when you're trying to do this perfectly and perform mechanics at the same time. But overall, I don't really think it's super hard, but I've also been playing this game for a long time, and Shaman for a long time, so maybe I'm just too used to it. I don't know. because a lot of people seem to think it is really challenging. There's a lot of buttons, and maybe that's the hard part, is that you have to bind a lot of things. Yeah, you have 15 seconds, I do believe it is 15. Doesn't actually say, so we're going to wait 13 more seconds and cast another one just so I can confirm that. Just going to keep doing the rotation here, and I'm doing a ton of damage. I'm only 885 eye level on this character. I do have 4 set, I do have legendary ring and helm, and really good stats, but this is a huge improvement, absolutely massive improvement from live. So let's see the exact amount of time we get here. We get, yep, I was 15 seconds to get all these out. I can cast that at 0 and still be fine, even without Stormkeeper. As long as you don't have to move too much, that is. There's a whole bunch of movement, you may want to like build some Maelstrom beforehand. But yeah, 15 seconds is a long time. Just make sure you prioritize those over like another Lava Burst or something as long as you have enough Maelstrom, because you don't want to lose them. If you do have enough time, you should probably keep Lava Burst on cooldown even with those ready, as long as you don't accidentally lose one. But yeah, that's basically what PTR rotation, Ice Fury rotation is going to look like. So if you think that's a little too intimidating, you can always go with the Ascendance build, which is going to be much simpler, but slightly less damage. But as I said a couple times now, if you are not able to perform this one really optimally, Ascendance build is probably going to do more damage for you, especially when it's not just single target, because Ice Fury doesn't actually benefit AoE at all. It actually hinders it because you're going to be casting Ice Fury instead of Chain Lightnings and stuff. So, especially for cleave bosses and stuff, if you can't perform Ice Fury perfectly, you may want to just go with Ascendance. And even if you can, you may want to go with Ascendance for cleave bosses. That is still to be seen. So before I end this video off, I wanted to say a few things. First off, in the description I'll have a link to a website that has all kinds of information for Ellie Shaman in 7.1.5. All the builds, how they rank up, all the legendaries, how they rank up, how to change your rotation for legendaries. They have a guide on there. All kinds of cool information that I feel like a lot of people would love to see. It's called stormearthandlava.com. I'll have it in the description. And secondly, I am going to be doing, I'll probably be doing anyway, pretty sure, a collaboration with another Shaman YouTuber / streamer named Barako Shama. Some of you guys may know him. We are going to be basically discussing 7.1.5 and answering community questions. So if you guys have any questions you'd like to submit, leave a comment and I will write down anything I like, anything that I think a lot of people would want to see answered. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully this helped you. Hopefully seeing the Ice Fury build in action made it a little less intimidating. And I'll see you guys next time.